New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Good evening, and welcome to the Miracle of Prosperity here on the New Thought Media Network. I'm your host, the Reverend Dr. Jim Webb. I serve as the Senior Minister of the Tacoma Metaphysical Chapel in Silver Spring, Maryland, and I also am the author of the book, The Soul of Prosperity, as well as numerous other books, including Forgive Your Way to Prosperity, 30 P's for Prosperity, Prosperity from A to Z, and Create Your Self-Manifesting Vision Board. So every Sunday night we come to you and we discuss an aspect of prosperity. We might either discuss professional prosperity, where we have a perfect job with wonderful pay, where we provide a wonderful service in a wonderful way, a la Florence Scovel Shinn. We may discuss relationship prosperity, where we develop and cultivate a relationship of unconditional loving acceptance and forgiveness of ourselves that then is reflected in our outer world as unconditional loving, supportive harmony with all around us. We may look at logistical prosperity, where we can make our lives work for us instead of having to work in order for our lives to work. We may discuss financial prosperity, where we have more than enough to spare and to share. And of course, it all begins with spiritual prosperity, where we find within the peace that passes all understanding, and when we allow prosperity, which is our birthright and our natural state, to find us, because we remove the barriers to it, a la Rumi. Everything you ever want is already there. Your task is to remove the barriers for it. So we do this every Sunday night. And every Sunday night, we either look at a key aspect of prosperity, a way to reduce our resistance to it, or techniques for building a prosperity consciousness. So I'm excited about tonight's show because it is entitled Persevering Your Way to Prosperity. Persevering Your Way to Prosperity. So we're going to discuss perseverance and how we can persevere through anything to get to the prosperity on the other side. So let's go back to that Rumi quote, first of all. That Rumi quote, love is everywhere, and love is what you are. I'm paraphrasing it. Our task is to remove the barriers that stand between us and the love that is already there. Well, love, prosperity is simply all the forms that love could take. So our task is to remove the barriers. In order to do so, in order to remove those barriers, we must persevere. Now, why is that? Why is that anyway? Why do we have to go through this obstacle course of challenges to get to the goal? Well, we don't have to. We've constructed in our minds, due to the Judeo-Christian idea that we are sinners and we must be redeemed, and therefore we must go through an obstacle course of pain and suffering. We believe that these outer barriers are created by God because of our sinfulness. But A Course in Miracles is a course in retraining our minds, so we understand that the only thing we see outside of ourselves is a reflection of what is within us. So those outer barriers are simply outer reflections of the inner barriers that we must work through. As one of our mentors, Jan Van Zandt, often says, when you declare yourself a thing, anything unlike it shows up for healing. So when we declare a desire, the first thing we must move through is our unconscious barriers to that desire, the unconscious ideas of undeservingness, the unconscious ideas that it's for others but not for us, because in our early trauma, we were miseducated into believing that we were undeserving. So we must move through all of this, and that takes perseverance. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And the reason that I was prompted to do this show was because my dear, beloved spiritual sister, Reverend Tonya Parker, came out with a new book, Which Voices Two? And I said, ooh, she did it again. Now, the inside story here is that I know that doing the first volume of this book was like herding cats. And I thought to myself, she is doing this again? What is causing her to persevere through all of this again? We need to discuss this, we need to dissect this, and we need to teach this. So I'm glad to have you here, Reverend Tonya Parker.
It is my pleasure to be back, Reverend Jim. Thank you so much for having me. Oops, I did it again.
Oops, she did it again. It's like, oh my goodness, that takes some perseverance. I know, and I also know that it takes some perseverance in light of all that you do. Mm-hmm. You are my hero as a spiritual entrepreneur. The coaching, the massage, the Reiki, the writing workshops, the workshop instruction on how to do workshops, the books, the speaking, the everything. I'm thinking to myself, what does she not do? And that too is not only a testament to your brilliance, your beauty, your heart, your love, and your light, but it's also a testament to your perseverance. So I love you, of course. I admire you deeply. I'm so proud of you. And I thank you for being here tonight. And thank you for enlightening all of our guests tonight.
Oh, thank you. That is so kind and generous and loving. You always, make me feel all warm and cozy, Reverend Jim, when I come here. I appreciate you. And yeah, I don't know how I do it all.
I'm like, how's she do all of that?
Oh, my goodness.
I have one idea on what makes you do it, and this might be very useful for our guests as well. I wonder, are you following some kind of divine mandate or divine purpose?
Absolutely. I am not a random kind of person, Reverend Jim. The
Yeah.
spirit speaks very loudly, and,
Uh-huh.
I am learning to exercise my muscle and discernment
Yes.
because, especially in the early mornings, I just get so much inspiration. In the
Mm,
shower, I get so many downloads. That's like
yeah.
my place, you know?
Yes.
Those shower
Uh-huh.
inspirations are legendary.
Yeah.
And, I can't do it all, and I didn't know that initially when I first started as a spiritual entrepreneur,
Mhm.
and I had to really listen for what is for me, what is for me now, what is to pass on to someone else,
Mm,
and really take time to hone into what is my purpose at this
mhm,
time, which has been shifting,
mhm.
over the years.
Yeah.
But really, my purpose pulls me forward.
Yes. Okay, so that is instructional for all of our viewers because quite often we don't have that power of discernment in order to persevere. What is my purpose? Is this in line with it? Is this not in line with it? If this is in line with it and this is not, what shall I do? Obviously, that which is most in line with my purpose. So that skill alone is $1 million skill. The skill of
Mhm.
discerning what is in alignment with your purpose, what is in alignment with your vision. For what is in alignment with your purpose and God's vision for you will always have the provision because you can't have vision without the provision. Can you tell
That
us about?
always plays in my mind, yes.
Yes, yes. So I'm sure there are some instances where you have discerned what was most on purpose for you
Mhm.
and you've persisted or persevered to the degree that the vision had to be accompanied with provision. Any
Mm.
thoughts on that?
Absolutely. You know, I have I have had a long and varied, uh, career path,
Yeah.
I'll say,
Yes.
and, you mentioned the massage, but that is something that I had to release,
Okay.
and so that it was like, "Okay, that's no longer in my purpose."
Hmm.
And what has been coming forth so much has been doing more work with the collective, and
Hmm.
that can show up either in the retreats that we put on and often in the books. So I have written several books on my own,
Hmm.
but what came forth starting in 2022 was the call to start writing anthologies. I've
Yeah.
been part of many anthologies, but to write my own. And then it just started laying out how to
Yes.
do this. And
Yes.
so that has been a big part of my purpose, and I really, at this point in time, don't see that shifting, um, in the near future because I keep getting more and more and more. What's the next book? What's the next book? What's the next book?
Okay, that helps me to understand, and I think it helps the viewers to understand as well that your purpose has shifted,
Mm,
but you have stayed on purpose and you listened to purpose without being invested in what was yesterday, because what was yesterday is gone, and the only
mhm.
moment is now. So I go ahead.
No, Reverend, I'm just saying you're being very generous because, it's not as if it was a smooth cutoff. It's
Mhm.
like even when we know what we
Yes.
know, there
Uh-huh.
can be resistance to
Oh,
it. And
yeah.
it's like, I'm still clutching, holding
Yes.
on in attachment to
Yes.
things, even when I know that I've been given a clear directive that this time has passed and it's time to move on to this.
Yes. That I remember that scene from Ghost when Whoopi Goldberg had to give that check to the Salvation Army, and she was like, one hand was giving it and one hand was pulling it back.
Right, right.
So understand that resistance is a part of it too, and honor that process. But
Mhm,
understand that at some point you will let go of what is not for you.
mhm, mhm.
And so staying on purpose requires continual communion. Is that one of the ways that you kind of attenuated your resistance and move
Mhm.
towards acceptance of your next phase of purpose?
Absolutely, absolutely. Just the things that show up, as you said, you know, from what Ayanna Van Zant has said, you declare yourself as a thing. I declare myself um, this founder of this women's movement, Women in Tune with Conscious Healing, and I'm doing
Yes.
this and I'm doing that. And of course, everything
Mhm.
unlike it is showing up. So it's like,
Mhm.
okay, spirit, how are you going to hold me here?
Help me to
How are
discern
you
here.
Yes, how are you going to help sustain me through this process?
Uh-huh.
Because it's no easy feat
Yes.
to declare myself something that runs counter to my whole religious upbringing, and that
Yes.
runs counter to what some of my family members and some of my friends may think,
Mhm.
their interpretations of what I'm doing and who we are, and
Mhm.
then to um, source. First, it was 33 women, and
Mhm.
then 22 women for
Mhm.
these two anthologies, volume 1 and volume 2, to
Mhm.
declare themselves this thing. So
Yeah.
if you think about it, the
Wow.
resistance and everything else comes up in stereo.
Yes.
It's not just mine anymore. It's theirs reflecting back to mine.
Amen. It's like Steve Spector and his wall of sound, right? That wall of resistance,
Mhm,
which
mhm.
is so instructional for all of us, because that is the journey. A Course in Miracles lesson 193 says, everything is a lesson God would have me learn.
Yes.
And through showing perseverance, you show this is how we move through the lessons to get to the prosperity on the other
Mhm,
side. That
mhm.
prosperity may look like a number of different things. The
Yes.
prosperity may look like the final product, this one, this wonderful book. But in order to get to this, you had to go through this, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We had a lot of upside down moments. I mean, this is
Yes.
a process where, we're gathering the women who
Mhm.
are writing in the book. We're gathering the publication team and the production team,
Yes.
and really leaning into everyone to do their part.
Yes.
And even if we do everything possible, because Reverend Jim, I know you're a Virgo, right?
Yes, I am.
And so I'm a Virgo rising.
Uh-huh.
And so there is that part of me that really likes to be organized and
Mhm.
systematic and lay out structures
Yeah.
and make it easy for people to do this and that. But, sometimes that goes out the window. It's
A
like, well,
creative process is not linear, it's heuristic.
thank you. Absolutely. So the herding cats continues to happen, but
Yes.
my response to the herding cats is a bit different now. And
Mhm.
and I just see it as, okay, how can I create more ease and grace in this? And how can I
Mhm.
meet them where they're at in
Yeah.
this and not be so attached? I think just learning to be detached while staying connected,
Yes,
as
yes,
Empress
yes.
Lolita Thomas would say,
Mhm.
that has been a very helpful coping mechanism
Yes.
because, there are women who say yes to this project, and I work with them, we invest in
Mhm.
time, and
Mhm.
life happens in
And
some
life
sort of
happens,
way,
and it's
and
not
they
their
can no
time.
longer continue. And
Yes.
so it's like, "Oh, okay. Now I have to fill that slot."
Mhm.
So go back to that and get that new person up to speed
Yes.
and continue in this process. And so there's always this pivoting that's happening, this back and
Yes.
forth, and
Mhm.
working with the energy that's there and not being attached to this person has to be in the book. It's like, okay,
Or
do you
they betrayed me or abandoned me.
well, you know what?
Mhm.
Yes. Yes,
Yes.
because that can show up too in certain
Yes.
ways.
Exactly. Yes.
Or at least for me this time around,
Mhm.
it was, well, why couldn't they just talk to me?
Right.
All they had to do was talk to me. I'm approachable,
Right.
as
Don't
if,
just ghost me.
and the
I
ghosting
know
was
you did.
happening.
Oh, you think I don't know that?
Yeah, right. The ghosting was
Yes.
happening. And so
Mhm.
I had to look, okay, as you
Mhm.
said, the Course in Miracles, everything is a lesson
Yes.
um,
And
that
so
God would have me
let's
learn.
yeah, absolutely. So let's break this down for our audience so they
Mhm,
understand how they can apply it to their lives. The phrase you used was be more detached. Don't take it personally, like the four
mhm,
agreements. And uh, in our lives, when stuff happens, number one, we can understand that this is just an outward reflection of our inner consciousness. That's what we
mhm.
came to heal. So you're on point. Even if it does not have the outcome that your ego thought it would or should have, you
Mhm.
are on point because you are getting mirrored to you your inner resistance. And that's why you're
Yes.
here. So pat yourself on the back for this opportunity for learning.
Yes.
When
Yes.
yes, and when you persevere, success may not be what you thought it was.
Mhm.
Maybe you thought it was getting this person into the book. Maybe you thought it was getting to this level in your career at a certain point. Maybe you thought it was developing this relationship that you thought was important to you. Maybe that was your idea of success. Maybe
Mhm.
God's idea of success is showing you your resistance that you might choose to heal it, to learn from it, or to grow from it. So maybe the biggest success is, what did I learn? What did
Mhm.
I heal? Or
Mm.
what did I overcome?
Yes.
Because that's really why we're here. As Spirit often says, the details don't matter. What matters is, what did you learn? How did you grow? What
Mhm.
did you heal? So
Mhm.
success is learning.
Mhm.
And every opportunity, all things are lessons. God would have us learn. So
Yeah.
one of the things that sounds like you did, and this is so instructional for our viewers, one of the things that sounds like you did is said, okay, let me detach from the outcome, that old Buddhist thing, and
Mhm.
let me just look at what I learned, how I grew from the process, for that is what it's all about.
Mhm. Mhm.
So our viewers can take that to the bank as well. And so speaking of our viewers, we're going to go on break so our viewers can have a chance to put their questions in the comments section and let us just know they're here. So we're
Mhm.
going to go to break and we'll be back here on the Miracle of Prosperity.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Home Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you. Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk, Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Unity of Garden Park, New Thought Philadelphia, the Sunshine Cathedral, Unity of Savannah, and the Om Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network.
What would Louise say? Join us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Hosted by Reverend Martine Bernard. Explore the wisdom of Louise Hay. Brought to you by New Thought Media Network. Dive into Louise's teachings. Experience healing and empowerment. Reverend Martine shares insights. Connect with a contemporary audience. Unlock your potential. Transform your life with love. Embrace positivity and healing. Join our vibrant community. Ready to join us? Let's spread love and wisdom together. Please like, share, and subscribe. Only on New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
And we're back here on the Miracle of Prosperity. I've got with us the Reverend Tonya D. Parker, the author or the curator of the new book, Which Voices 2? Women in Touch with Conscious Healing, Volume 2. Now, this book is an anthology of people's personal journeys, how they overcame their resistance, their challenges, their misinformation in order to evolve into what God created them to be. And it is instructional for all of us, for that is all of our journey. But the stories are powerful and fabulous, but the stories are also instructional in persisting through what shows up. And putting them together is also instructional for persevering for the prosperity that is on the other side that awaits you once you move through the resistance that is shown to you. So what I'd like to explore, Reverend Tonya D. Parker, I'd like to explore the inner work necessary for persevering, the inner work of inner healing, inner awareness, and healing the inner voices of no when God has already said yes. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. So there is no hiding that takes place when you're working in community,
Yes.
because everything, as I mentioned earlier, is amplified in the community. And
Yes.
what is showing up for others reflects on what's showing up for me. So because I was willing, I had to be able to see what was being reflected. I couldn't point fingers. You did this, you did wrong, you not acting right. No, it's like, okay, what's the lesson for me? So it was a continual process of my internal work because we met every week for several months in our writing circles. And then I had one-on-one meetings with the authors as well, some of them multiple one-on-one meetings. So what came up for them really was an opportunity for me to look at, okay, where does my resistance lie? Where are my points of healing? And it was considerable. I remember years ago, Reverend Jim, you did a sermon. I thought I healed that.
Yes. Yes.
That showed up, over and over again. It's like, okay, now it's time for another layer. And
Yes.
I just didn't realize that Spirit dropped this beautiful gift in my lap to allow me to heal. I go into this process knowing that it's not going to be easy. I can create as much ease and grace as possible because that's just how I'm built, right? I'm
That's how
just
you roll.
way,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
However, I do know that it's for a purpose and it is for my higher healing. So it takes a willingness to
Yes.
surrender to that healing and
Yes.
not to constantly fight it. Now, I fought it.
Mhm.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
some
We're
way,
human.
But, after a while, I have to
Mhm.
straighten up and fly right, as they
Straighten up
say.
and fly
Okay,
right.
what this
Yes.
is really about. You're
Yes.
seeing it in stereo, you're
Yes.
hearing it, and if I'm not
Mhm.
paying attention within that group, it's showing up other areas of my life, and I'm having
Yes.
other people to lovingly and gently remind me of
Mhm.
those lessons, because that's what I've co-created for myself in this season.
Yes.
It is a
Yes.
time for healing myself, healing generational wounds and
Yes.
patterns for my family,
Mhm.
backward and forward. So
Reverend Jeremy?
that's what I signed up for.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, and so this is powerful and instructional for our audience as well. One of the things you just taught them is look within, not without. Instead of you said a phrase called paying attention, because attention is one of the most valuable spiritual tools we have.
Mhm.
For attention is creation. What you attend to is what you magnify in creation. So the point of that is when you're paying attention to what this one did to you, what that one did to you, why this one didn't return your call, why that one's ghosting you, why this one is resistant, why that one is resistant, you're wasting powerful spiritual capital on
Mhm.
all that stuff outside of you
Mhm.
instead of looking within you to what is ready to be healed. Now, what do you think is going to have the highest payoff? The highest payoff is not going to be the energy you wasted, just like the highest payoff is not the money you wasted, but the money you invested. So look, invest that attention on your own inner experience
Mhm.
instead of wasting that attention on other people who are just reflections of
Mhm.
your consciousness. And that for our audience can help us all to persist and to persevere to get to the treasure, to the prosperity that is on the other side. It'll
Yes.
take a lot longer when you're focused, as a course in miracle, when you're focused outside of you, as a course in miracles says, we keep looking for stuff where it ain't. Look for it where it is.
There it is.
Inside of you, that's where you'll find it.
Mhm.
A
Mhm.
Course in Miracles didn't say ain't. I paraphrased that.
That's a little paraphrase, but mm.
Yes, yes. So that's wonderful. We have some wonderful comments. Something about playing something at a radio. What's that all about, Reverend Tonya Parker?
What's that?
Uh-huh. It's
Playing?
Planet Nine Radio at Planet Nine Radio from Reverend and M.
Oh, I think Reverend Nim is just saying hello.
Oh, okay. Hello,
Yes,
Reverend and
that's her
M.
former podcast, Planet Nine.
Oh, okay. 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 Wonderful. Wonderful,
Mm,
wonderful, wonderful. So,
yes.
what else do you have to share with us, Reverend Tanya Parker,
Mhm.
about persevering to prosperity based on your experiences with your new book?
What I have learned is I am learning that I am such a communal creature. It's
Yeah.
how I grew up. Um,
Mhm.
with the family living on land, surrounding each other. It's,
Yeah.
being part of different clubs, being in a sorority, being part of different spiritual communities. And
Mhm.
I co-create these communities not just to help get their voices out, but I realize, it's so powerful, that whole concept of synergy. The
Yes.
whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And
Mhm.
so when it is feeling a little difficult to persevere, I lean into the community. They
Yes.
serve that additional purpose to
Yes.
help shore me up. And I find that when I am transparent, when I'm authentic with them about my process and what I'm going through,
Mhm.
that can help them with their healing as
Mhm.
well. And so it really builds a sense of love and trust and safety. And so many of us are looking for pockets of safety in today's society. So I am grateful for that.
Okay. In other words, you like the V formation. For our
Yes.
audience, fly in V formation. And this has to do with geese migrating south, for those of you who don't catch the analogy. Geese migrating south fly in a V formation, and that is because the goose at the head of the V creates a wind draft, so that their flapping creates a vacuum that allows the others to just have less and less wind resistance. So they're doing a whole lot. The goose at the beginning of the V is doing probably more work than the other geese in the V. But every once in a while, you'll see the change formation, and the one who was doing all the work in the front goes into the back to catch the drift of all the other geese. And that is how community works. One person is a good publicist. Another person is a great writer. Another person is a great motivator. Another person is a great visionary. Another person has a way with words that can reshape the words that were already submitted, but they're all in community. And that's what synergy is all about. So for those of us who need to understand ways to persevere to prosperity, what I think you are telling us is get yourself in community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, your examples were right on point. For example, Reverend M, she is the cover artist.
Yes.
My go-to for that. And then Stephanie Blanche, happy birthday, Stephanie, is our publicist person, really good with promotions, creating videos, and the publisher.
Yes.
So I take on the editorial tasks and activating, helping to pull out the stories of the women. But we had so many to step forward to share their ideas, to share their insights. And, they're coming up with ideas for where we can do book signings and how we can stay connected in other ways. So everyone takes ahead of the V at the V formation at some point in time.
Yes. So folks at home, it takes a village to persevere to your prosperity.
Yes.
Integrate yourself into whatever village feels right for you. Feel the embrace of the village and join the V formation as another way to persevere to prosperity. With that, we're going to come back after a break, and we're going to chat just a little bit more with a couple of surprises here on the Miracle of Prosperity.
New Thought Media Network proudly presents the Science of Mind Saturday Conversations. Learn more about the Science of Mind philosophy, faith, and way of life. Join our team of experts for a weekly deep dive discussion. Come study the Science of Mind chapter by chapter, and resources from the Science of Mind archives. Plan to join us every Saturday, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. Only on the New Thought Media Network. Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk. Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Unity of Garden Park, New Thought Philadelphia, the Sunshine Cathedral, Unity of Savannah, and the Om Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network.
And we're back here on the Miracle of Prosperity on the New Thought Media Network with Reverend Tonya D. Parker. And we're discussing Persevere, Your Way to Prosperity. So what I'd like to do now, Reverend Parker, is I'd like to summarize some of the wisdom you shared with our audience on how we can persevere our way to prosperity. You shared that the prosperity is on the other side of the resistance. You shared that the resistance is within you. It's just being reflected by those outside of you. You shared that it is more productive to focus on your own inner resistance than to blame and shame those outside of you, for that is unproductive when you are the source. You shared that it is important to be detached from the ego's tendency to castigate, to blame or shame, or to in some way belittle yourself for what you're going through. What you're going through is what you came here to go through, and so it's divine. You shared that on the other side of this is the wonderful thing, so you must always remember your purpose and discern what is most in alignment with your purpose and be willing to let go of that which is no longer in alignment with your purpose. You shared that your purpose will evolve, for nothing is static in the world. And what this means for our viewers is all of that. That we can learn how to persevere through prosperity by doing these same things, by emulating what you just taught us this evening. Is there anything else that you would like to share about that, Reverend Tonya Parker?
Oh, that was such a beautiful recreation, Reverend Jim. Kudos to you for tracking all of that. Just that one last piece we talked about leaning into community to support yourself. Looking at that whole concept of synergy,
Yes.
And leaning into the supports to help pull us towards our purpose. Mm-hmm.
Yes, beautiful. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for investing the time. Thank you so much for showing us what is on the other side of that persistence. In this case, it's your new book, Witch Voices, Volume 2. How can people get this book?
Well, they can go to Amazon.com and they can do a search for the book, or they can actually look me up, Tonya Parker, as author. And you'll see a list of all the books that I have written. So Tonya Parker, if you go to actually tinyurl.com, Tonya Parker / Tonya Parker books, that'll take you right to my page. And you'll see the books that I've written that are found on Amazon.
Yes, some of them are some of my favorite books. So I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us tonight. What are you working on these days?
Well, Reverend Jim, we are always looking to build communities. So we have a number of retreats that are coming up. As you mentioned, we have our Sacred Flame, where we are basically developing retreat leaders at a retreat in a retreat format, and it's a three-level certification process that we're taking folks through. So we have another level 1 of that coming up in April. We also have Breaking Through Barriers to Blossom Your Book. So for any writers out there or want to be writers who have a book in them and they're encountering some resistance in whatever form, some challenges, we have a week-long retreat out in Virginia. And so that is March 28th to April 4th. Okay. We have all sorts of retreats brewing. We have U Source Academy that's launching. And so I'm really glad to be leaning into community support.
What Source Academy? Tell us about that.
U Source Academy.
Can you
And
spell?
that is in partnership with Reverend Nim Unk Ministries and Empress Lolita Thomas
Yes.
with Wake Up Now LLC. We have U Source Academy that actually Reverend Nim and I have been working on this since 2017. And we have a community of healers, light workers, metaphysicians, and we're teaching metaphysical arts, celestial arts, holistic healing, sound healing, all sorts of areas. And so it's a beautiful community that we're developing for the next generation to learn from some of the masters and to be in a position we need to find some folks to take over for us, right? So we're training folks to be able to teach these wonderful subjects, the newly awakening folks to come in and have places where they can learn and grow and transform. So that is launching at the end of this month, and we'll be opening for spring admission starting in March.
Okay, wonderful. Sounds like you're working on some wonderfully exciting things, Reverend Tonya.
Absolutely. And we'll have another Witch Voices book out next year.
Okay, wonderful. I look forward to that. Yeah, some exciting things coming from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
And so what are you up to, Reverend Jim? I know you always have a lot of irons in the fire.
I do. Well, what Spirit guided me to do is to revamp everything. This goes in line with what you were talking about, how our purpose shifts. Well, Spirit said to me, revamp your whole electronic online infrastructure to support what we've got next for you. So I'm redoing my website. As you know, my mentor, one of my mentors, Dr. Cummings, to the day she died, she said, Jim, when you going to do some more Sakithia? Jim, bring Sakithia back. So this new version of me will bring Sakithia McQueen back. Some of you remember Sakithia McQueen. Every day, Sakithia had an adventure, and they were hilarious, but they were so instructional. So Sakithia is coming back on this new platform. A whole lot of little video clippets are coming back on this new platform, and my wisdom will be, and my sermons and all of that, and transcripts of my sermons will be organized in a way that you can use me as a glossary. If there is a subject you are interested in, or if there is a challenge that you have, you can just put in that subject or challenge, and what will come up is wisdom around that subject or challenge. So you will be able to use me as a glossary. So that is what I'm working on. In the meantime, So in the meantime, just check me out on Facebook Live, YouTube, and other channels, and see my classes, workshops, etc. And you can get that from my website right now. So that's what I'm doing. But I want to, yes. So I want to thank you, Reverend Tonya, for spending your evening with us tonight and enlightening our audience. Thank you so much for being spiritual, a model of spiritual creativity, according to Jane Pat. So I want to thank our audience as well. Thank you, viewers, for being here with us in community. And I want to thank our producer, Reverend Michael Mangus. So everyone, stay warm, stay safe, stay in peace, no matter what is happening in your outer world, and stay in God. Here on the New Thought Media Network.